Hi guys, Whitney here. Welcome back to my channel. So I am doing a quick update on Dr. Sebi's meal prep plan. So I wanted to do this video. Like a lot of you, this is my first time following his meal prep guide, and I thought it was really imperative to kind of share because I'm super lost as well, but I want to share the knowledge that I have, and maybe it can help some of you and vice versa. So if you guys have any tips, ideas, recipes, tag me below, share. Maybe we can help the community of us that's trying to eat right. So I purchased Dr. Sebi's Cell Food Cleanse, which I can't remember which one I got, but it was a nice little pretty penny. So I wanted to make sure that I do everything that I need to do to get the full benefit. So the point of me coming on here, I just wanted to kind of like maybe help clarify or help simplify some things for you guys when you're shopping. So he gives you a list of all of the items that you should consume while you're doing his meal prep plan. So it goes from teas, fruits, vegetables, grains, everything. The one thing I found to be like super helpful, or the most helpful, was just going on here and narrowing down things that I already know how to cook and things that I feel that would be super easy for me to consume, because it's going to be really tough to break down or to let go of a lot of things that you've eaten like your entire life. I mean, it is 80% mental and 20% of what you eat. So I'm like, okay, let's start the process now. So the one thing I did was, for me, I narrowed down, so like, let's see, zucchini, squash, garbanzo beans, cucumbers, dandelion greens, avocados. These are all the things that I eat on a regular basis. So onions, olives. So that's what I decided to be my first meal for today. And I'm going to show you guys how to make that, also using everything that's here on this list. So the first thing that I did, I went to Whole Foods to get all of my items. Nothing against Walmart, Kroger, or anything like that, but as far as when it comes to just being on the safe side, or making sure everything is like organic and not these processed items, I just felt safer going with Whole Foods. So I went and I got some zucchinis. I got about like 2 or 3. Typically the amount of size or the portion that I'm going to cook for you guys today will last you maybe like a day or 2, maybe 2 days, 2.5, depending on how you eat. So I always try to either even out the amount of zucchini and squash that I get, and I have about 3 yellow squash. So I'm going to chop these up really fine. I'm also going to dice some onions in there too for flavor. So I'll show you all the things that I got from Whole Foods. So, and these are all on the pamphlet. So onion powders on there, oregano, I'm going to add that in there as well. I'm going to add some cayenne pepper, some thyme, some basil, onion, of course. Now, there's a list of oils that you can use. He also states the ones you can cook and the ones you cannot cook. So olive oil, coconut oil, do not cook. So grapeseed oil is totally fine. Again, this is something that I use on a regular basis. So also, I'm going to add some pure sea salt for flavor, since we're using a lot of herbs here. And then also, this is another one, savory, that's on there as well. Just be really careful with this, because when I tell you it is very strong, it comes off very salty. It's a nice taste. Don't get me wrong. It's a nice taste, but it's very salty. So the first thing that I'm going to do, I am going to just place my camera here first of all, so you guys can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to take a little bit of this oil. Sorry about that. Take a little bit of this oil. Now, it's totally up to you how much oil that you want to use. For me, I'm only going to use a little bit, like less than, I would say less than a cap. So I'll just sprinkle that in just a little bit. I like to do that. It also helps and gives the vegetables a little bit of flavor. Now, the key thing with making this dish is you want to make sure, let me move this out of the way. You want to make sure you do not overcook your zucchini and squash. So typically what I will do, I like to slice my items very fine, super fine, and I'm not going to do the whole entire video showing you guys me cooking because that can be a little time consuming. But what I do is this, I'll cut them just like little quarters. Slice them real thin, and I'm going to do the same thing. So slicing the squash, do the same thing with the zucchini. Now, typically, I will let it cook on simmer for about maybe 10 minutes. Never want to use the bottom. And then while I'm letting that go, I'll just put those in there, grab a good bit, lay those in there. Okay, same thing here. So we're just going to slice those. Keep in mind, I am not a chef, guys. But hopefully what this will do is help someone that's trying to figure out at least their first meal. And if you make it, I guarantee you, if you make it the way I'm making it, it will fill you, and it's really good. It's really good. He also has like wild grain rice on there as well. Now this is something you could put over a bed of rice if you just feel like, okay, I need something a little bit more filling and this will possibly not be enough. You can always add it over a bed of rice. So I've added 1 zucchini, 1 squash. So what I'm gonna do is just go ahead and cut my onion. And you can see the portion of what I'm cutting. I will show you. It's not very much. I don't know how much this is, but I know it's not very much. So of course you wanna peel off the skin. What I like to do, I like to make my onions very fine. Almost to where they just melt in your mouth. I don't like them to be like very chewy and like noticeable in my food. So I like to chop them up pretty good. And a lot of people season their water and everything first. Me personally, I like to put my food in first. Now, some may ask, am I letting my water get to a boil? No, because this is one dish that cooks really quick. And I want to show you guys everything that I'm going to put. So I'm going to take the caps off of all of the ingredients. Now what I used was only 1 zucchini, 1 squash, because the rest I'm actually probably going to cook it tomorrow. I just like my food to be like really, really fresh. So I cook it as I go. So let me show you what to expect, what you'll see once you open up. Okay. So this is basically what you're going to have as far as portion size. 1 zucchini, 1 squash. I like to kind of come in. So right now I'm putting in thyme. I don't use a measuring cup. I just kind of taste and go. The one thing I do love is some thyme. Even though it is an herb that you can't naturally taste on its own, once you cook it with something, it brings out a really good flavor. So now I'm just dashing in some oregano. Again, all herbs. Now I started this off on low, and I'll show you how I kind of hit up the heat a notch just so it can kind of simmer and cook. And what I'm going to do is let that simmer and cook. And this is just a little onion powder, even though I know I put onion in there. I like some onion. Now I'm sprinkling in basil. Again, these are all herbs, guys, but you will taste it in your food. Okay. Now I'm going to come with a little cayenne pepper. It gives it a nice little pretty look, but it's gonna give it a nice little kick too. I wish you guys could smell it. It smells so good already. So I'm gonna come in now with the savory. You could use sea salt if you want. Being that this is a blend and a mix of salts and seasonings. Now again, this was on his list, so I'm just gonna go with it because it's on the list. But being that it's on there, I'm gonna use it. Now again, remember, it is very strong, so we're just gonna sprinkle. So I sprinkle maybe like 3 shakes. So 1, 2, 3. So typically what I will do when it's simmering, you can see it boiling. I just like to go through. Of course, you want to use a spatula. I just use a knife because I don't like to wash dishes, so I use what I have. Okay, we already have the oil in, and if you get close enough, you can kind of see it. You don't need a lot. Typically, what I will do next, I will get a lid, and I will place it on top. I leave the lid on for probably like 5 minutes. Take it off. Check the food. I'll flip it over a little bit so all of the herbs and the seasoning kind of mix. But what it does is create a great juice, which you can see is already starting to like create. And this is really good to drink as well. So I know it sounds nasty, but it's really good. You want to let that simmer. I'll put the lid on for 5 minutes, and then what I will do after about 5 to 8 minutes, I bring this all the way down to here, and I just let it steam. Again, you don't want to overcook it because you don't want to take out the protein is what you're trying to put in. So hopefully this helped you guys as far as with your first meal. So I'm going to crank that back up for a few minutes. I'm going to put the lid on top, and then I'll show you guys the after results.